What's up, guys? Welcome back to Let's Play Basara 3. Okay, so we stopped by the land of Kai to visit Sanada Yukimura, and we kind of kicked his ass a little bit, and he'll get back up on his feet and be our competent rival eventually, but we've got business to take care of first.
Sounds very much unlike him.
Pain is the same for all creatures. Lord Masamune, if you only fight out of wrath, would it not make your 6 claws weep?
He's like, do swords weep? Is that how that works?
Nah. Never mind.
So the inevitable happens. Yukimura sides with Mitsunari. Mitsunari also got Kame Kuroda, which is interesting. I wonder if we'll be fighting him at Sekigahara. I don't want to go through his normal stage, so good thing.
We're going to team up with Ieyasu Tokugawa.
I see. Forcing our way through Ieyasu before settling the score with Mitsunari is unwise. It's better for us to align with those who also oppose him.
Ieyasu has been recruiting allies as well. There's really no reason not to join up with him.
Lord Masamune,
What's wrong?
I agree with you without reservation. This seems the safest move available.
Never heard that before.
Well, Kojiro knows us well enough to know that we don't like to play safe until he kind of forces us to. So we don't have any of our super arts yet. We will probably get that at the end of this battle. So we have one more battle to go before the decision day with Ieyasu. So we can fight either Hojo or the Maeda clan right here. I'm going to go after Hojo. I mean, either way, this is going to be a stage that I've already done, unfortunately. So this will be a little bit repetitive, but it's been a while since I've shown off Hojo's stage, because that was with Ieyasu, if I remember correctly. So that was like, 25 videos ago or something like that. So, but yeah. I don't like to be repetitive. I like to make sure I show off every different map that I possibly can. And so far I haven't gotten to show off Shimatsu or Otomo Soren yet, which is difficult because of where they are on the map, considering they are way on the other side. All the way on the western side of Japan. So, but we'll hopefully fight Shimatsu next time around as Yukimura. So, anyway, I didn't want to fight the Maeda clan because their map is kind of a pain in the ass, as you guys saw from Magoichi's campaign. So, Hojo it is, and I get to make another correlation to the plot point that I made in the last video, which is that Masamune actually fought Hojo in real history. He was actually allied with Hideyoshi at the time when they defeated Hojo. And Masamune participated in that battle. I wouldn't say that he directly fought Hojo, but him and his forces participated in that campaign. So instead of going right up the center there, I'm going to go over here off to the side and capture this camp before I go up there. So like I said, I don't have any new moves to show off in this fight yet, but the next fight, as you guys can already assume, is going to be the fight against Ieyasu when we approach him to join his side. So we'll have to go through Ieyasu's normal stage, which will be the first time we've been able to show that off, which will be pretty cool. Finally, the 8th Masamune video will be Sekigahara, or we'll finally get our revenge on Mitsunari. So yeah, I'm going up here to capture this post, and then I'll go back into the center, just to save me a little bit of time and make sure that I have, there's no occupational chiefs that can spawn back here and take any of my camps back. One thing I will say, though, is that unlike some Musou games, because, what's some good examples? Hyrule Warriors and Berserk and the Bane of the Hawk have this, where you have essentially a gauge. Well, Fate Extella has probably the best example of this. The gauge at the top of the screen that is the percentage of the map that is controlled by one faction or another. We haven't seen these arrow towers in a while either, these archer encampments. They're kind of annoying, but we can get by them pretty quickly. Anyway, so the gauge at the top there, where it shows, in blue and red, the percentage of the map that has been conquered by a particular faction. So if an enemy faction controls, you know, a certain majority of the outposts compared to you, then they will win, and vice versa. So those are sort of alternate win conditions for those Musou games, but those are not a win condition necessarily for us. We still have to beat the boss, and we can have all of the command posts and still lose. But losing all the command posts is definitely a lose condition, I believe. So, but I don't think I've really had that happen ever in Basara 3. I know I've had it happen in Basara 1, which, to talk a little bit about Basara 1, if you guys have not watched that Let's Play, well, first of all, definitely go watch it. My commentary wasn't quite as good back then, but it was still, it's within recent years. It's one of the Let's Plays that I am proud of. It's not one of the really old ones that was terrible. It's one of the relatively newer ones that I'll still stick up for and defend. Same goes with Basara 2 and 2 Heroes. But Masamune was the first character I had played as, so I didn't really have, at the time when I first played as him, I didn't have a whole lot of other experience with other Musou games. Like Fate Extella hadn't even come out yet. I hadn't played Dragon Quest Heroes. And that was it. And now, you know, fast forward to around here, when now I've played the entire Basara series and all these other Musou games, and I can make all these parallels and comparisons. But in terms of gameplay, my main strategy with Masamune and Basara 1 was primarily just to use Magnum Step and War Dance, because Magnum Step would allow me to decrease the distance between me and an enemy and really kind of close that gap. It was a really effective, you know, lunging, dashing attack, which I thought was really, really effective. And then obviously War Dance would let me kind of set up, and, you know, I would cast it when I'm having some distance between me and my enemies, and when I would run at them, I would deal a lot more damage, and I would be less susceptible to having my attacks parried or countered by those heavy halberdiers we had to fight on ultimate difficulty in Basara 1. So actually, believe it or not, I didn't just realize this as I'm making this comparison, that Masamune VS Hojo was the very first episode of the very first Basara video that I made. It was Masamune vs. Hojo in Basara 1 on ultimate difficulty. So, how far we've come. It's been like 2 or 3 years now of making Basara Let's Plays, and obviously we're in the third, technically fourth game in the series. So, now in Basara 3, though, because of the fact that we have access to every character's moveset binded to a different button, we don't have to give and take with what arts we want to have equipped, what heavy attacks. Whereas in the older games, you had to assign them in the menu before you deployed into battle, which meant that you could just toggle back and forth between them with the L1 button. And unfortunately, you were stuck with those two moves for the entire stage, which now gameplay has a lot more variety. You can string combos together for a longer period of time, as you saw there with my use of Magnum Step, Dragon Fang, I almost said Azure Storm or Crazy Storm, and then Cross Slash. So everything in that order. You can see that ultimate melee combo there that we get from using Dragon Slash or Cross Slash there. Or no, Dragon Slash or Dragon Fang, and I'm getting the English and Japanese names mixed up. I'll keep using the Japanese names. So Dragon Fang, which is where he swipes the claws upward like that, and then we can continue to hit the square button and get another series of melee combos from that. Then we would go into Crazy Storm, and then finally to Cross Slash to finish it all off. That's my favorite way of doing it. There's no right or wrong way of doing it. In fact, there's probably a much more optimized way of doing it that I'm not even aware of. But that's just kind of my preference, and I think that's what stylistically flows the best for Masamune. And again, I may have misspoken earlier when I talked about War Dance, because so far I'm not sure that we can actually manually cast War Dance in this game, which may be on purpose.
How'd you like to feel some dragon claws?
The super art we're going to get for Masamune is... I can't remember what they call it in the older games in the Japanese version, but it's essentially going to be a lightning bolt attack where you charge up and you send a blast of lightning forward to enemies, which seems awesome, and it can be useful for attacking enemies at a distance, but it takes way too long to cast, and it's just not ideal, and I typically tend not to use it. Let me revive my ally really quick here because Kotaro Fuma handed them their ass, which is to be expected. Kotaro Fuma is very, very, very tough. I was not looking forward. I'm definitely not looking forward to fighting him at Sekigahara again if I have to. I think we already got that taken care of though. I think I didn't really have to fight Hojo very much in Sekigahara that last time. But yeah, Kotaro Fuma, we're having a much easier time with him here as Masamune than we did as Ieyasu. And I think that's just because Masamune is a little bit faster, and he can, like I said, he has a little bit more reach to him because Ieyasu uses fists.
I can't believe I'm actually about to give this order. Kotaro, retreat!
That's one of the things that makes the co-op mode in this game. If you guys have never played this on two-player multiplayer, if your ally is defeated, you can revive them just like you can with your AI-controlled allies, and they can do that to you as well. So essentially, the two-player co-op is a great way to attack more challenging difficulty levels and things like that, because it allows you to, through trial and error, stay alive longer or die multiple times in the same stage and not be permanently penalized for it. For instance, when me and Cheyenne first played Basara 4, when I first got it, we were playing co-op and we got to Takeda Shingen stage in Basara 4, and there is a challenge where you select the difficulty by slashing a particular icon, and I didn't realize the one I had slashed was hard mode, so we had to fight Masamune and Kojiro, which was really tough, and then we had to fight Hana Tadakatsu and somebody else after that, and Hana Tadakatsu handed us our ass, and we proceeded to try that stage a little bit differently the next time. Basara 4 just has some great stages, though.
What's the problem? Why am I angry? Whatever else may end up.
Alright, Hojo.
The most important thing is
I know you're getting old, but we're not getting any younger either. We're really tired of this. Let's get this over with.
Just stubborn.
He's got some archers up here with flame arrows, which is interesting. We're not especially worried about that because we fought back against the strongest fire that we'll ever need to fight in the previous video. So Hojo is Ice Elemental, just as he was in Basara 1. Hojo was made playable in Basara 2, so he was not playable in Basara 1, but he was playable in Basara 2, as far as I know. Not that we would actually play as him.
we fight to protect each other and slash down any and all who oppose us.
Yeah, I found a really great interview with the original creator of Basara where he talks about the development process of the original game and how it was very difficult to keep people on his team working on it because they thought the game was not going to do well. They were kind of assuming it was going to bomb, and then he actually had to get a different director halfway through the project because the first director was just not giving him the result that he wanted. But I can only imagine what the ambition was like with Basara 2 to make as many characters playable as he did. Obviously, in Basara 3, they did a little bit of a give and take. They gave some characters that would be good to play as and took some away that were kind of unnecessary to update. Alright, so we beat Hojo, another stepping stone along the way. Now let's go after Ieyasu.